Welcome to Wine Wednesday. I think it should be White Claw Wednesday because Dawn is in transit. But we're
gonna do this without her, even though she's not here. We have done one before without her when she was in Hawaii, and now she's coming home from Vegas, stuck because her flight got canceled, or she would be here.
Did it get canceled? I thought it was just delayed.
Oh, just delayed. Yeah, I think it was just delayed.
Yeah.
So
okay.
But we wanted to do it anyways because you guys love our Wine Wednesdays. So
thank you for your support. We love to educate you on Wine Wednesday. So today's topic, Corey, we are going to talk about gift funds. It appears that more gift funds are happening, and that's permissible when it comes to loan approval. So what are some of the criteria when it does come to gift funds? Let's start with conventional financing.
So conventional financing for gift funds is a little bit easier than, say, FHA, because we don't technically have to see the proof of transfer, but we do have to see that the donor had the funds to gift. So if mom and dad are giving, their son or daughter $10,000, we need to see a 30-day bank statement showing that they had the $10,000 to gift.
Correct. And then the other thing that's very important is that they will execute a gift letter between the donor, which would be the parents, and our borrower. Correct. So they execute the gift letter. We provide that when they get under contract. It's already completed, filled out, and then we just have to show the donor ability. So correct. For FHA, what are the stipulations when it comes to FHA?
Well, on FHA, you absolutely have to show the proof of transfer. So basically, when mom and dad gift the funds, if we're just using that as an example, you can have other relatives gift, which we can go over that in a minute. But we need to see those funds either write a check from their account. We see their bank statement that it is their checking account, and then it goes to the borrower's account. We have to see all of that. In the case I have right now, they're transferring it from Bank of America to a Bank of America account, which is very acceptable, but it went into a savings account and then the borrower transferred from the savings to their checking. Therefore, we didn't see the transfer from mom and dad into the savings. So we had to get a 30-day savings account to verify that that's where the funds went to, so that it didn't look like it was just a giant $10,000 gift or a deposit.
Cash deposit.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And realistically, we understand that borrowers, don't always have the total amount of funds to close. So we always encourage or ask, at the time of application. I even just put it out there just in the event, like, hey, our borrower may have those funds, right? But I like to ask just because one time I didn't ask, and then they're like, well, you never asked me about gift funds. So I do present it and say, hey, in the event, if you may be short a couple $1,000s, do you have a blood relative, family member that could possibly gift you if need be? And generally they will come up with a way to obviously get the gift funds if necessary.
Correct.
So,
and if they're not needing the gift funds, but mom and dad want to give them the gift funds, sometimes we just tell you to wait till after closing, because then we won't have to document anything. So if you don't technically need them for the closing, but mom and dad absolutely want to give you money, that's great. We love that. Just try to wait.
Do that on the down low, or actually, after the fact, because if the money's not needed, why bring that into the equation?
Exactly, because it's just more paperwork, and what we're trying to avoid is paperwork on your side as well. When we say relatives, we definitely mean blood, but there are instances where it doesn't have to be related by blood. It can be adoption or legal guardianship, if it's that kind of a I have had a case that it has been a fiance, but it's you definitely have to show more documentation. So be prepared. If a fiance is giving a gift, you have to show definitely more documentation, proof that you're engaged. I've had an underwriter ask for a newspaper article showing the engagement or the wedding announcement or something.
Correct.
So it is more difficult. So if you can get a blood relative, that's easier than having a. And of course, we always have to show 30 days of funds. Everybody always gets upset on that because they, why do I have to show that the borrower or the donor had 30 days worth of the money in the bank? because we don't want it to, mortgage fraud is so big, and the highest part of mortgage fraud is cash to close. And that's where people try to fraud. And, all these large deposits are coming in, and they don't know where they're coming from. That can be a very questionable of funds to close.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important at the very beginning, depending on their line of profession, because we know that there are going to be cash transaction businesses and that kind of thing. So the sooner we nip that in the butt up front, and obviously we can guide them and direct them, because that's one of the biggest things with our government is that money laundering cannot exist. We have to account for every single dollar into the transaction when it comes to mortgage approval.
Yeah. I mean, everybody always, it does seem tedious, and I've had a lot of donors get really upset with me. Why do I have to show you? And then I have to explain that is the highest amount of mortgage fraud is the cash to close. Next to, wire funds, that's also on the rise. So if we ask you for that, there's definitely a reason that we need this proof.
Yeah. And another tip that we can offer to the buyers as well is that if they do execute the gift letter, they can go to their bank and wire the monies. The donor can go to their bank and wire the monies directly to the title company the day before closing. And that will kind of somewhat eliminate cutting down on the paperwork and going from one account to another account. We try to do the path of least resistance always. So it's very important that that clients tell us this up front, and we as loan officers asking the direct questions, leading to additional questions so that we know specifically how to guide them and make it as simple and seamless as possible.
Right. And I know that there's been a lot of parents too that don't want to give their child their bank statements. They don't need to know how much I have. That's where we come in play. We'll work directly with the donor, that none of that paperwork has to go to the buyer. It can come just directly to us, and that eliminates them worrying about how much information is being shared. We're sensitive to that stuff, and we'll make sure that it stays in house. And
same holds true with like grandparents, because I know I've had to contact grandparents in the past, and they're probably the most uneasy about it because of, as they should be. They're always cautious, but at the same time, they are a little apprehensive about it. But generally, when we place that call and we talk to them direct, they are a little bit more lenient. And I do reassure them too that, your documents are in a secure portal, and obviously
100%.
And things are shredded in the event after the transaction. So
yeah, I mean, we hold a standard. We're licensed. We don't want to lose our license.
Everything is compliant, and it has to be,
yes.
And we follow the guidelines, yes, and criteria.
And when you mention grandparents, sometimes too, keep in mind, we may ask for more documentation when a grandparent has a different name or something like that, because I have had to get birth certificates to prove mom remarried, mom's name's different now. So, just be warned that if we're asking for it, it's just because we don't want, we don't want any fraud going on. We're not party to it. We just want to satisfy underwriters and let them know that we're on the up and up on our transactions, which we know everybody is. It's just that sometimes it will take a little bit more documentation. And that's where, we come in. We're sensitive to everybody's feelings in this. And it's just something that we have to do. And we're trying to make it as least, strenuous as possible when we ask for documentation.
Correct.
So
really, the truth of the matter is, when it comes to gift funds, we're here to help you.
Yes.
We'll guide you every step of the way. We'd love to help you. And when in doubt, give us a shout, right?
Correct. And if you want to avoid, gift funds, and parents want a gift and they don't want to have to do all this, then put it in the bank now and wait 30 days while the money's
60 days.
Well, that's true. 60 days, because we're going to need 2 months bank statements.
Correct.
And any large deposits in your bank within the 2 month span, we will need documentation.
Can you explain what a large deposit is considered?
So on an FHA loan, a large deposit is anything more than 50% of their gross monthly income. Gross monthly income is $5,000 a month. Anything over $2,500, we're going to need proof of.
What about for conventional? 1%.
Is 1%.
Yeah,
yes.
1% of the gross income. So, Yeah, and we will guide you on that. Like we said, happy to help. And this concludes
Yeah.
our Wine
We
Wednesday.
think that
with
we've
gift
given you more,
funds.
but you, like she said, if you need any questions, reach out to us. We'll guide you.
When in doubt, give us a shout.
When in doubt, give us a shout.
Cheers.
Cheers.